Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to 2 o'clock on a Tuesday. Hope you're all surviving the summer holidays. I think I've got a week left, and we've got the really impressive Heather Murray from AI for Non Techies today. We've signed up Heather to do the training for our platform, but this is all about content and value, Heather. So over to you, and take the audience through some of your ideas when it comes to AI.
Sure. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Lovely to meet you all. There's quite a few people in here. That's wonderful. Good to see. I always like to see a good, decent level of participants is wonderful. So I'm going to give you a really short session, a short blast about all things AI, and then tell you a little bit about the course that we've got coming up as well with NextGen. So just 1 second, I'm going to share my screen through Canva because Canva is one of my favorite tools. That itself has a ton of AI features. But I'm going to just press present, not that button. That's not a good start. There we go. Okay, so yeah, this is AI for non-techie financial planners. So my business is called AI for non-techies because everything I do is non-technical. And one of the most exciting things about AI right now is that you don't have to be a technical person to use it. You don't have to know how to code. You don't need to be the first mover when it comes to brand new technology. It's all there. It's really intuitive. It's just knowing what it can do and what it can't do. And it can make such a massive difference. It makes such a huge difference to my everyday now. And I show lots of different businesses how to use it in their role. So this is specifically for financial planners as well. So any questions anybody has throughout this, please feel free to put them in the chat, but we'll have a little bit of time for questions at the end as well. So first of all right, Bab, I'm from Birmingham, as you can probably hear from my voice. As I say, everything I do is completely non-technical, but just want to introduce who I am and a little bit of background as to why I'm here presenting this. So I used to work in marketing for 20 years actually, for various, mostly in professional services. And then I started to use an AI tool for a client just to solve a problem. I thought I'd try something a little bit new. And that resulted in $75 million worth of client sales. So my interest in AI was very much peaked from that point, considering we're a very small agency and we got these huge results. So from then on, I've been learning AI and sharing what I've learned. And that ultimately led to winding down the agency and creating AI for non-techies, which is where we are now. So I'm now a top 20 MarTech influencer globally. I got a really decent LinkedIn following and lots of newsletter subscribers, which is great. Featured in Forbes a lot. I'm part of the ISO committee as well for AI and cybersecurity in education globally. And I work with some really big brands like Toyota, Mitsubishi, Semrush, Salesforce, that sort of thing, House of Lords as well. I advise UK government and local authorities, but I also work with lots of small businesses, sort of one-to-one with kind of solopreneurs and small businesses. And I kind of, to be honest, prefer that. I really like that there's a little bit less red tape and I can start to show them the difference it can make within an hour and just say, look, let's do this. There you go. There's the results. It's really exciting. I'm also very lucky to be flown around the world to speak all about AI because a lot of people want to know about it without any of the jargon. So that is just a little bit of background as to who I am and what I do. Whoops. So this is a really good quote that I think kind of explains everything I'm going to talk about here. So this is from Kareem Lakhani, who's from Harvard. And it's often misquoted, this one, but he said, AI is not going to replace humans, but humans with AI are going to replace humans without AI. And it's a really good way of putting all of it. It's AI, and AI has been around for a really long time, but and generative AI, which is what we've got right now, and I'll speak about that in a second, is a really amazing free assistant, a really intelligent, really keen and enthusiastic, sometimes gets it wrong, but often it will be really helpful, free assistant, or usually about £20 a month assistant. And that's how it should be seen. It's not here to take over something. You know, you need to be an expert to correctly instruct AI in what to do and then recognize whether it's successfully done it at the other side as well. So it's all about equipping yourself with AI right now. Those who don't are going to be, and I don't mean this in any threatening way, but they will be left behind just because everybody else will be doing things a lot faster. So you can optimize your processes, you can make things far more efficient, but you can also innovate and think of new ways to do things. So non-technical people can now build tools. I spent Friday and Saturday building my very own tool for a client. And I could never do that sort of thing before without knowing how to code or without understanding how to go to the back end of something and fix something. It was just purely conversational, and it's a really, really exciting thing. So that's where it is. It's about equipping yourself with AI, not worrying about it coming in and replacing you. So I just want to talk about what AI actually is. So AI itself has been around since the first instance was a Turing test back in 1950. It's been around for over 70 years. The first AI chatbot was actually 1966. So, ChatGPT is not the first AI chatbot. This has been around for a really, really long time. But what's new, and the reason we're all talking about AI suddenly, is generative AI. And I just want to talk you through kind of how we've got there. So imagine this is a bit of a timeline. So we're starting off at 1950 up here, and we're ending where we are right now, 2024, with the LLMs. So artificial intelligence is, to put it simply, it's a computer trying to think and learn like a human. And that's the two key things, thinking and learning. So learning from past data, that is machine learning here. So artificial intelligence is this big umbrella term, this big yellow circle encompassing all of the rest of the stuff. And as we go through time, we kind of developed more skills. So this was kind of the primitive type of AI. It's actually only called artificial intelligence in 1956. That's the first time that term was ever used at Dartmouth College. But we had lots of exciting things happen in the 50s and early 60s. But then the 70s, 80s, and early 90s was known as an AI winter, in that nothing really much happened. There's all this promise from the 50s, all these people going, oh my God, everything's going to change. But it didn't. The 70s, 80s, and 90s, funding didn't happen, projects didn't come to fruition. It was just dead zone. But in the 90s, IBM's Deep Blue, it was called, beat Kasparov at chess. And that was, I don't know if anybody remembers that. I certainly remember that. I think it was 1997. And that was a real turning point, and people started to be interested in AI again. And this is where we pick up here with machine learning. So lots of technology that we use every single day is AI, and machine learning was probably our first kind of part of it, and the first layer that's given what we've got today. So machine learning is the learning side. I was saying AI is think and learn. Machine learning, that's the learning side. And it's when AI learns from past experience. So think about things like your predictive text or your email spam filters. It is constantly learning and evolving to stay relevant. So email spam doesn't change. Email spam does change. Therefore, the email spam filter also has to change with it. So you don't get the exact same email, the exact same structure. They get cleverer and cleverer with their wording and how convincing it is. And so the spam filters have to also get cleverer and cleverer with how they detect it. That's a perfect example of machine learning, type of AI in action that we've all been using for decades. As I say, your predictive text is another one. Your Netflix algorithm, that's another one I've been using for decades. So what you watch, what you stop on, what you fast forward, what you rate, what you don't rate, it's taking all that information as data. So we're building up this huge bank of data, and it can then successfully predict kind of what you would like. So in the way a spam filter can predict what a spam email might look like, your phone can predict what your next word is going to be. Netflix can imagine what you might want to watch, including all those guilty pleasures that we all have. But that's machine learning in action, and that formed the kind of the baseline for everything that we've got right now. So as we got more and more digital, and we start to get mobile phones, we are just generating data. So every time we go to a cash machine, or as I say, we text anybody, or we make a transaction online, or we do a search, we're creating tons and tons of data. So this huge data set. And we needed to make sense of that. What's the point in having this data unless we're actually analysing it? And that's why deep learning was developed. So that uses what's called neural networks. And they are named after the neurons in your brain, because this is the think part. So again, back to my definition of AI, thinking and learning. So we've got machine learning is the learning, and then we've got deep learning is the thinking. So this is when it starts to understand what it's doing. So machine learning is more patterns. It did this before, so it's probably going to do this again. Deep learning is more, it's kind of understanding and gleaning insights from what it's actually got. And it's based on having a very huge data set too. So examples of that would be your iPhone. You pick up your iPhone, it recognizes your face. That's deep learning in action. It's quite a complex task to do that. especially weirdly, it doesn't pick up from sunglasses when you're wearing sunglasses, does it still? I imagine they'll get around that soon. Real-time translation apps, really good example as well. There's just tons of deep learning and a lot of deep learning that's going into what we're using today as well. So that was deep learning. That's kind of we're going into the sort of 2010s, 2020s, I sort of split that 2010s, 2020s. And then finally, we end up at the reason that everybody's talking about AI right now, and that is generative AI. This is the new thing. This is the reason that AI is featuring in every conference that you go to, and it's all over your feed. And we're suddenly talking about it. It's not AI that's been around for 70 years, although it's built on that. It's generative AI. And that quite simply uses deep learning and machine learning to create something new. That's what we haven't had before. We've had it where it's analysing and predicting. We've had it where it's understanding and maybe creating some elements of insights with a little bit of creation, but now it's creating entirely new things. So it can create entire blogs, poems, text, images, music, video, voice, all these different types of content it can now create. So the content it creates is very human-like as well. It may not be perfect just yet, but it's pretty human-like. So examples of those: ChatGPT that most people have used, Midjourney, one of the best. I'm saying one of the best. There's quite a few competitors for it right now. Is one of the best image generators as well, and there's lots of different examples around that. So in the middle of that, we have LLMs, which are large language models, and that is the likes of ChatGPT, of Copilot, Claude. Very, very simply, they are the text version of generative AI. So if you put text in and you get text out, that's probably going to be an LLM. So they have all these very technical or very literal, honestly. I think machine learning, deep learning, it's quite literal. Artificial intelligence. These aren't kind of creative people that have come up with these names. Generative AI generates something new. Generally tells you what it is when you look at what it is. And it sounds more complex than it actually is. So yeah, generative AI, the new thing that is generating something new, and LLMs is the text version of that. So that's just a little bit of an intro as to what it actually is. And I think it's quite important to know. So I'm going to be taking you through in the first session of the course, I'm going to talk about in a second. We're going to be talking about all the different things it can do. So one thing that people are aware of is that it can create. So we're just talking about generating something new. So you type in, say, write me a poem on something, and it will create that poem. So it can create, you can write something into an image generator, and it can create an image of whatever on earth you want, whatever weird thing that's in your head. Same with video. Voice is a little bit different, but it can still create. You can type something in and it can come out in whatever voice you want. So that ability to create is a huge part of generative AI, but it's not all of it. And we're going to be looking at all of these throughout the course as well. So the ability to analyze information conversationally, which I'll show you a very quick demo of in a second, because the time is already running away. There's so much to talk about with all of this. So you are able, without being a data analyst and without having access to tools like Qualtrics or SPSS, you now can upload some data and just say, what have I got here? Create me a graph, give me some insights. And these can be huge data sets with 10 different Excel sheets. And it can look at all of this and go, yes, okay, here's a graph that best represents it. So you're not saying, I want a graph of this specific thing. You're saying, find the trends, find the insights, give me the insights, and then visualize it. So I'll show you that in a sec. It can also organize information in ways that we haven't been able to before. So I can now speak into an LLM, so like ChatGPT. I can speak using my voice and just do a massive brain dump about anything that's on my mind, it's growing my business, the problems I'm having with generating leads, anything like that. And it will organize that information and give me advice based on it too. You can take pictures of your handwritten notes, or you can take pictures of slides at a conference, and it can extract that information and apply it to your exact use case as well. So that organization is incredible. Summarization, equally good, and probably one of the best things it can do. So for all of these, it has things it's good at and things it's bad at, and that's a really important thing that I'll be going through in the course anyway. But it can summarize as well. So it can take really long white papers, really dense reports, really long videos, really long podcasts, and it can analyze them in seconds and give you the key points. Or you can ask, say, this is a 2-hour podcast. Did they speak about this topic? Or it's a recording of a call. Did anybody mention my name? and within seconds it can find it. And that is a really, really useful use case within work. You can also enrich data. So if you have a list of companies and you want websites and you want phone numbers, or you want just information about all those companies, you can do that faster than ever before as well. So just a few use cases for financial planners, just a few of the hundreds, probably thousands of things you can do. But you can automate report creation. So you can just feed in the data or automatically and set it up so it can automatically extract the data, and it can create a report in the format that you want now. It's incredible. You can create really good risk assessments because it's very good at analysing data and possible outcomes. It can help you generate leads in a really good, strong, structured way. And we'll be talking about all of this in the course. It can help you create content. So that can be your marketing content, can be your sales pitches, your pitch decks. It can be educational. So if you want to do any training style content, or you want to educate your clients on certain topics, it can help you with that. As I've said before, you can now chat with your data as you would a friend, and it will tell you things about your data. It will clean it and organize it for you. You can generate really personalized client advice as well. So there's something called hyper personalization. So now we are able to train AI with individual traits, and it can create content specifically for that person. So really exciting use case there. You can also create a 24/7 digital you. So you can have a video of you that speaks like you and looks like you and acts like you and has your knowledge, and people can interact with that. So they can log on and they can talk to you, which is pretty incredible for anybody that has that kind of personal relationship with their clients and long-term clients as well. You can create bespoke newsletters for people in specific industries, or create one for yourself that just tells you everything you need to know. You can automate your calendars. So I no longer have a to-do list. I just tell AI what I need to do, and it will work out where I need to do it. So I just come in and I just work through my day, knowing that everything's going to get done on time. It can analyze your calls as well. So you can record calls with AI note takers, and you can now analyze what happened, what missed sales opportunities were there, what is the sentiment with this client, what sort of thing can you extract from a call, how could I have done better, is there any missed thing, are there any pains or problems that I can help, can I create content off the back of that call to attract similar clients to the person I've just spoken to. It can also manage your emails as well, so it can scan through, give you a digest of everything you've got in your email inbox. It can sort things into folders. It can give you one of my favorite things is if there's a really long email chain or email thread, you just press one button and it'll say what was decided in the end, and that just saves time. It just makes life a little bit easier. And then you've also got intelligent chatbots as well that you can interact with to get the information you need. And so that is just the beginning of what you can do. It's just incredible. So a lot of people think generative AI, they think AI, they think ChatGPT, and maybe just creating quite a boring blog. It's so much more than that. So the 12-week course or 12-month course is 12 90-minute sessions, and we've got 2 sessions per month. Sorry, it's a 6-month course, 2 sessions per month. All the sessions are going to be recorded, so if you can't make one, then you'll be able to pick up and have a look. I'm providing email support throughout personally, so if you have any questions, you just send them over to me and I will be able to answer them, and that's not something I'm offering for any other course at the moment. So we're going to be covering a little bit more depth into the history and terminology of generative AI, including the risks and limitations, which are very important. We'll be talking about all the different LLM options. So some people come to me and they say, I can only use Copilot, or they only trust Copilot because it's Microsoft. But what's the difference between ChatGPT and Copilot, or Claude, or Gemini, or all the other options? We'll be going through prompting, the ability to instruct AI to get what you need out of it. That is a very, very core skill. And we'll be going through a foundation and a next level version of that. We'll be looking at probably the best use case for AI as it stands right now, which is personal productivity. Like I've just mentioned quite a few different use cases on the last slide, managing your emails, managing your calendar for you. It's like having a really good EA, but that is able to help you with loads of other things as well. And then real life use cases in financial planning. So some of the things we've just looked at there, and I'll be opening the floor as well. I want your suggestions from people. Just I want to talk about real challenges that you have, things you do on a repetitive basis, and I will plan the sessions around those as well. We'll be doing loads of tool demos and scenarios run-throughs as well. So it's very, very hands-on. I will be showing you how to use these tools. It's not just theoretical. I will open up my accounts and I will show you things. And then I'll be showing you also custom GPTs too. So that is a little step further. So you can actually build your own version of ChatGPT with your own knowledge added to it. And it sounds technical. It really isn't. You can do it in 2 hours. Creating automated workflows as well, so just taking it to the next level. So a lot of people think AI and automation are the same thing. They're not, but they do work beautifully hand in hand if you really want to turbo boost and automate as much of your day as possible, and then just stick with the stuff that you really enjoy and you're really good at. And then we're gonna look at something that's really next level that not many people are speaking about, which is called agentic AI. So this is when it will do it itself. So you give it a problem, it will work out how to do it, and then it will undertake that task. If it encounters a problem itself, it will work out how to fix that problem. So there's no interaction with you, it's just going to work by itself. So that is very, very cutting edge, and we're going to cover that towards the end. There's a tool called Relevance to talk about. So I just want to give you a quick 1-minute demo of ChatGPT analyzing data conversationally. So if we open ChatGPT right now, I'm very aware of the time, so I'm going to have to speed up. If we open ChatGPT right now, and I'm going to get a little data set from a place called Kaggle. If you ever want to play with data and you want to know you want to just play with something, this is all real publicly available data. You can just nick stuff. So let's have a look at this analyzing customer spend habits data. And you just get a downloaded file. You have to sign up, but you don't have to pay anything. And you get this data to play with, which is quite interesting when you first learn in AI. And let's just upload that. So it's a zip file. So we can upload this entire zip file. It's full of different spreadsheets and documents, and it can understand that really quickly. It's always the case that it will slow down here, and that's something we will learn, is that AI is definitely not perfect. There we go, it's sped up now. So I'm just going to say, what data is this? Give me, in fact, I won't even say what data is this. I'll say, give me 5 key insights and 3 visuals to match. I'm not explaining at all to the AI what it is, what context it has. It's just saying, oh, look, you've uploaded a zip file. I'm going to need to extract it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And it just carries on doing all these things. It's going, right, okay, so this is what we've got. We've got a CSV file. So let's have a little look. So it's loading and it's going through all these different files. And it's saying, right, okay, this is what we've got. We've got the data set, which has got sales data. And it's got these are the columns that we've got. And here are the key insights that I'd like to show you. So it's reckoning, given what we're looking at, this is going to be interesting information. So sales trends over time, customer demographics, geography, etc., etc. And then it's saying, right, the visuals that you want, I think, to represent this data will be this. And then it's going to say, it's saying, right, a line chart would be great for your sales over time, bar chart for your customer demographics, and a heat map representing your sales distribution by state. And it's going to go ahead. I haven't done anything here other than just said, I've uploaded the information. I've just said, tell me about it, produce some visuals. And it's just going ahead and doing all of this, analyzing the data. And now we have already monthly sales trends. And it's just going to keep going on and creating these graphs. And just for time, I'm going to stop that one. But it is absolutely fascinating, this type of thing. But there's something I want to cover before we finish, because time is flying by, because there is, as you can see, so much to cover. The risks and limitations, I won't go too much into these at the moment. Samuel, I'll just do some questions in a second. But there are some things you absolutely need to be aware of when you're using AI. First one I'm going to point out is data privacy. So the reason I used data there that was publicly available is that you need to be extremely careful with what you upload. And there are ways around that, and I'm going to teach you how to use AI in a private environment and not risk your data. But you need to be aware that it's whatever you put in, if you're just using normal ChatGPT, could technically, it's very unlikely, but it could technically come out the other side. It's biased. People think it's AI, robots, no bias. It is human content. It's trained on human content. It's built by humans. It has human bias. And we'll go much more into that in one of the sessions, into all of these in the session. Hallucinations. It is not perfect. It does sometimes make things up, and that in itself is something to be very aware of. Again, there are ways around that I'll show you. Plagiarism, it is everything it's trained on is stolen. everything all generative AI is trained on is stolen. That is changing. So we're going to learn more about that. But yeah, talking about IP and copyright, very, very important issue. And then sustainability. Generative AI is already using more energy than a country. It uses a tremendous amount of energy, a tremendous amount of water to keep all the data warehouses cool. There's a lot going on there as well in that world. So it's really good to be aware of all of these things. So I recommend, I'm going to go through all of these in detail. Join the course now. That's what I reckon. And are there any questions that people have got? I think there's a couple in the chat. Adam, did you want to read them out?
Yeah,
Or?
one of them we'll just disregard, but can we use AI to get tickets to Oasis on Saturday morning?
Oh,
I just said that's a challenge. I think
Yeah.
Samuel Hogg has a question. Samuel, allowed to talk. There we go. No pressure, Samuel. You're now on screen, or you should be.
Got my share. I think you're on
No,
mute.
he's on mute. Right, okay, we'll move on. Samuel can come back to us. What's been the biggest impact of AI on your business?
Personal productivity, 100%. Those little incremental gains, the ability to have everything seamlessly connected together and to also not have to do repetitive things anymore. That is the biggest impact. And it's the biggest impact I see with even senior leaders that I'm working with at enterprise companies. It's those small things that take up an hour, pretty much an hour, 2 hours every day, where you're fiddling around with the same things. You are able to, it frees up space to do the bit that you really, really enjoy and the bit you like to get stuck into, that real human bit.
So if you were to put some sort of metric on that, what do you think it would be?
Sorry, could you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, just in terms of is it hours, is it days, any sort of like benefit in terms of metrics that
I'd
you've
say,
studied?
yeah, I'd say it saves me at least 12 hours a week, 12 to 15 hours a week. And that's not if I'm using the major tools. That's just what I've got running on in the background that's fully integrated. If I'm doing something major and innovative, it can save me weeks. I did some work on Friday and Saturday. Took me 2 days. About a year ago, that would have literally taken me 2 weeks. And I'd probably need another expert in the room with me as well.
Yeah, so I reckon it saves me about 3 or 4 hours a day using AI. Okay, we've got Josh who's got a question. Josh, it's a bit like radio chat, this, isn't it? Josh, you've raised your hand, asked to unmute. Are you there, Josh? No. Oh, how do we join the course? That's a quick one. We'll send you email details. We're actually closing entries next Thursday because the course starts next Friday. But we'll send you details. We've actually got a couple of assets we can send as well, Heather, haven't we? Some
Yeah.
AI things that you put together that I think would be useful. So we'll send it all by email. This is not a big plug, really. We just wanted to add some value. So next. Lead generation. So just quickly cover lead generation and how AI has helped you, build that.
Oh, in just about every way, breaking it down to understand. So you can give it the information about your service, and it will help you understand who the perfect persona are for you to sell to. It will then help you refine the exact offer. Actually, before that, will help you understand their challenges and pain points because AI has access to all of these different reports, hundreds of thousands of reports, and it can extract all that information. It's so much better than just getting information from one source, which is what we tend to do when we're trying to find out about our audiences in marketing. So it'll understand who you're going to sell to, what their problems are, and then how to speak to them, and then it will help you create content that provides real value to them and create that much more of an inbound. So this is what it does for me. I'm 100% inbound at the moment because I'm using AI to understand my audience, understand their problems, and create stuff that helps them. So therefore, they naturally start coming to me, which is a much more savory way of approaching lead generation than this outbound sort of sending out 100 messages on LinkedIn, which very rarely works. But if you are doing that and it is part of your strategy, we can optimize those messages again. So if you're selling anything high ticket, which is another really good use case for AI, you can optimize per individual. So if you're selling something that's maybe, I don't know, 10, 50K or above, then you're able to analyze individuals' personalities and then tweak the wording of the outreach to them and create leads that way as well. So there's so much, and you can automate things as well and get loads of information that you couldn't before.
Okay, great. Last question, because I know you're a very busy lady. The question I get all the time is, what's your average, or what's your spend on these AI tools? Because it can get quite expensive. You know,
Yeah.
what's in your AI stack?
Oh God, I get told off by my accountant all the time. But I think judging from what my job is to go and try out loads of tools. Some people give them to me for free, which is great. But I still spend way more than I should. But I think when I'm working with clients, I think generally about like you can go so far, you go so far with just one £20 per month LLM. I mean, you can go quite far as a beginner for free. Lots of them have free options. But if you're going to start to take it seriously, just picking a really good LLM, we'll talk about in the course how to pick that one. But £20 will get you really, really far. I think for £100, you could have £100 a month, you could have a really strong stack. I don't know about you. What's
Yeah.
that you
But
spending?
we try and give everyone in the team about £100 spend on AI tools because we think it's going to be massive. At the moment, my favorite is Perplexity AI because
Oh,
I think
yes.
it's absolutely
Yes.
incredible. But
Yeah.
I do have the Chat GPT Plus, and I am a serial GPT builder, which we'll get onto sometime else. Right. Okay. Thank you very much, Heather. That's absolutely amazing whistle stop tour of AI. Go and check Heather out. Her content's amazing. AI for non-techies. She also has all sorts of content around AI. As I say, we'll send you an email with details of what we're doing in terms of the course. We think it's a first of its kind. We've not seen anyone else come out with some kind of curriculum like this. But the closing date is next Thursday. We start next Friday, and then we've got 5 or 6 months of learning how to supercharge our businesses with AI. But thank you very much, everyone, for coming to this webinar.
Thank you very much, everyone.